What is going on, everybody? Depraved Slasher, and we are back. It's another comedy hour. We watch old informational videos and make fun of them. We are so sorry we were not here last week.
Like I said, we need it.
Work has been crazy, to say the least.
Long hours. Like 6 days a week.
Very long hours.
For him, not me.
This is actually being recorded on the weekend to be pushed out the following Friday.
Pretty much, yeah.
We missed last weekend for what? It was Father's Day.
Yeah,
on top of.
Well, you had to work Saturday, too.
Saturday.
So, as my mom has pointed out, we are mocking her era. Now, I did text her back and say, technically, we're not mocking your era. We are mocking informational videos from your era.
True.
Yeah.
We are mocking them, and not because they weren't necessarily needed at the time, but they're just so outdated.
Or poignant at the time.
Yeah.
I don't know, some of them, but the first one was, that lady was sketches as hell, but I'm just, she was.
But they're so outdated that they don't really fit with today's time.
They did not age well.
Which is what makes this fun.
Unlike my mother, who aged wonderfully well. You don't look over 40, Mom.
So this one is about teenage conflict. Which, I mean, teenagers get in fights and arguments.
Do we know what kind of conflict is?
Not yet.
Okay. I was just wondering if there was, like, a description. Like, is this conflict fights, like you're talking, or is this, like, parental conflict, or, like, conflict with teachers, authority figures?
Self-sexual conflict.
Right. Autoerotic asphyxiation is bad. You might die.
Yeah. There's tons of these, guys. We could probably do this for a while.
Way too much forensic psychology in college. I actually got to see those crime scene photos. Mm-hmm. Because you had to determine between autoerotic asphyxiation, murder, manslaughter, accidental during sexual pleasure.
Well, I know for, like, murder, you're looking for telltale signs of, like, struggle.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, scratch marks at their neck from trying to get whatever it is off.
Right. A lot of it
DNA
looks
under
very
the fingers,
similar.
Period.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, they do it to
things,
themselves,
small
too,
details.
Yeah. A lot of it looks similar, though.
Right.
It's just contextual, mostly. But
True.
Don't do it.
Yeah, no.
Have a partner. Have a safe word. Don't use Worcestershire sauce.
Worcestershire.
It's Worcester sauce.
Worcester. That's the Polish word for lips.
Worcester. Yeah.
I love my
Worcester
lips.
sauce. Oh dear. Okay, we should start. All right.
So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this is Teenage Conflict. We are going to slash it up and make fun of it. Let's see what we got.
Break it down, just not bars wise.
Yeah.
Oh no. Science versus religion.
Already, Family Films presents a science and Christian brought video.
But is it like verses, or is it like?
I think it's a.
We do
merging science and Christianity together.
Here's an atom, and here's the cross.
Here's an Adam, and then here's Adam.
And here's Eve. No, wait, Eve's not there.
Nope.
What the fuck?
It's a bar.
It's Adam and Steve.
Adam. I like how it's like.
Why is this taking place in space? And it's on a nuclear level. See? It's in their DNA.
Sam Hirsch.
Is that how they're playing it? Like, so we're starting off with a big bang by God, and teenagers are prone to conflict on a atom deep level in their DNA.
Or banging by God.
Well, I mean, just slam it all together, why don't you? They are.
Giggity.
That's what she said.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that cut was terrible. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah. Looks like. Okay, I have to say that already. This reminds me of my dad. Like, my dad looked like a really geeky Clark Kent. Like that, but with the big frame glasses.
Right.
And he has told stories where his dad was a woodworker and had this wonderful woodworking bench that he had made in the garage, and Dad burned holes in it. Like, fucked it up bad. Got in huge trouble for it based on science experiments that he did when Dad wasn't home.
All I see right now is I'm waiting for the cleavers to come in.
Well. It's dinner time. Please set the table, Timmy.
Is that your sister or aunt, dude?
He can't hear you, honey.
Joe?
Well, you felt it, though.
Hey, what's the idea of sneaking up on me?
I'm sorry. Did you get any?
I'm sorry, I have never responded to somebody sneaking up on me by like,
What's
what did
the
you
big
think
idea?
you're doing? And she's just like, you motherfucker.
Well, I mean, technically, she didn't even sneak. She kind of skip-hopped.
True.
Skabopped.
And he was just so into whatever he was
And had
doing.
his headphones on.
Right.
Yeah.
Nobody with headphones is paying attention to anything else around them.
I am.
I scared her like within the first week she was here.
The only time you've managed it. I was coming out of the bathroom, too.
I'm coming out. I want the world to know that I had to go.
To the bathroom?
Yes.
Yes.
Hey, what's the idea of sneaking up on me?
I'm sorry. Did you get anything yet?
No, I missed it again. I don't know whether it's the satellite or this gear.
Oh, is he trying to get alien messages?
No. He's got to be like trying to hack into like police scanners, old school police scanners, or like government
NASA.
tech. That's the only thing I can explain. Like,
My dad was trying to hack into NASA.
NASA.
So, I mean, like, there you go.
He's like, I really want to know if you put a dog on that spaceship.
That actually worked for them for a little bit when he was a teenager.
Did he?
Yeah. Very good astronomer. Better with computers.
Pretty good with Ask Myself.
Excuse me?
Yep.
Yeah, the fuck? But I actually didn't hear you.
That's appropriate. That's what I'm pretty good with Ask Myself.
Oh,
He
well,
said astronomy.
I would have known that. But he was searching for your ass.
Excuse me, are you into astrology? I was trying to make it to Uranus.
Right.
Kanye West, ladies
Can
and
you show
gentlemen.
me the way?
Back before he went crazy.
Right. But, alright.
I don't see how you expect to hear a satellite.
Ah,
Well, sometime when I got a couple years, I'll try to explain it to you.
Well, right now, if you've got a couple
Oh.
of minutes, how about
He
explaining
copped
some
out
of
of
this to me?
mansplaining.
he's-
That was
He-
condescending as fuck.
Right? Well, one day when I have the time, I might explain it to you.
When I have a couple years. He didn't even say time. When I have a couple years. But, I mean, someone who's like,
Well, they are siblings, though.
Are
That's
you-
condescension's normal amongst.
I can't tell. Are you going to talk to the satellite? Yes, sweetie. Satellites talk.
We're gonna have a conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. This is all Disney. Everything's animated. Pixar, get on it.
Please no. I want some actual traditional animation from Disney.
Right?
I'll try to explain it to you.
Well, right now, if you've got a couple of minutes, how about explaining some of this to me?
Sure, might as well. Unless the satellites burn up, it's gone now anyway. What don't you get?
Well,
Everything.
I get what it says about...
Everything.
What don't you get? I had a teacher like this
You
once.
stupid broad.
Because I was never the kid that could. When it came to math, everything else I was really good at just reading, comprehending,
me
or
too.
yeah, and then
Yep.
moving on.
Or listening in class.
Except for math.
Yep.
Math was not that thing. Math I had to be walked through and shown, and I had a teacher that was like this. That was like, so after trying to ask her questions, she was definitely the type of teacher that would come in and she'd be like, "All right, kids, turn your books to page whatever, read, do the quiz, and leave me alone."
Right.
Legit, she would say, "Leave me alone."
Yep.
So then one day she goes up to the front of the class. She's like, it appears to me that a bunch of people seem to be having issues.
You're flunking because I'm not doing shit.
She's like, I'm just wondering, this will be the time. Raise your hand. I'll call on you. If you have a question, I'll answer it.
Oh, no.
So I raised my hand.
The whole book.
I raised my hand, and she goes, yes, Nick. I was like, yeah, I need literally everything we've done explained to me, because I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Right.
She goes, anybody else got a question? And I raised my hand, and she was like, yes. I was like, I'm serious. I don't understand anything that I've done. This was pre-cal.
Right.
I was like, I don't understand anything I've done or tried to do since I've been in this class. And again, she goes,
anybody else?
Anybody else? So finally I raised my hand again, and she was like, this better not be a question about the book. And I was like, well, aside from the fact that that's what you're asking is for questions about the book, I now just need to go to the bathroom.
Right.
And she's like,
now I just need to leave.
She's like, okay.
Bye-bye
so I
now.
get up, I grab my book bag, I put all my books inside the book bag, and she's like, what are you doing? I was like, oh, this bathroom break's going to take about 6 months. And I walked out the classroom and never came back. So my last period class was stage. And
right.
I helped put together the sets for the plays. I also ran sound for plays
right.
and things like that. So I go down to that teacher, and he looks at me. He's like,
"What are you doing
Why are
here?
you down here?"
Yeah.
And I explained the situation to him. He goes, "She is such a bitch." He's like, "You know what? You can skip in here, and when time comes for classes to be changed, I'll put in to have you have this actual time slot here." For just an elective where you can come and do your homework, things like that,
right.
help out further with the stage stuff, whatever you want to do. I was like, all right, cool.
Sounds good.
Principal calls me in about a week later, and he goes, hey, you were in this class, and you've not been in it for a week and a half now. Teacher told me what happened. He's like, I want to hear your side. And so I explained it to him, and he looked at me, he was like, she what? I was like, yeah. I was like, she every day would come in.
Right.
Tell us not to bother her. Tell us what pages to read, which test to do.
Right.
Leave her alone. I was like, I can't learn with math
that way.
I need walked through it. I need shown. I was like, and she's a teacher. She should be teaching
Well, that
this.
is her job. Yeah.
And then he was like, okay. Needless to say, about 2 weeks later, I guess she got let go.
Right. Well, I mean, so I'm exactly the same way between lectures and the reading. Every other subject, I had great comprehension and barely studied, and it came easy. Math, I have to learn it the same way that you're talking about. There has to be a fair number of demonstrations, not from the pages of the book, on the different problems and how to solve them. I need to be stepped through it. My mom was a math teacher. And so anyway, I had this wonderful teacher for 7th and 8th grade. She taught biological sciences in one, American history in the other. I hit 9th grade, and I think it was geometry that I was taking.
This class American history.
Well,
X.
I did great in her 2 classes, those 2 years, and then hit geometry with her husband. And he knew me, had heard great things about me. It was small school in terms of being a student, this, that. And I was failing because he wasn't like your teacher. He just happened to be a condescending prick like this. Like, why are you not getting it? There are several people that I have met, like, way later in life that had him, that were different years from me. All have said the same thing. If math did not come naturally to them, he was a terrible teacher for it, because he was mean in terms of condescending, and like, he expected everyone to get it. He didn't leave us alone, but like it wasn't comprehensible the way that he was doing it.
Right.
Mom ended up teaching me at home geometry. I cheated a fair amount. There was answers in the back of the book.
Yeah.
Molly, I guess. But what I don't know...
Hi.
How big is this family?
Dude, your guys' cuts suck.
Well, listen, are you sure you got enough range? I mean, trying to pick
His
up a
ears
signal
do.
from a satellite's pretty tricky business.
I'm
Well,
sure
other
he
guys
picks
are
up
doing it.
naturally.
I'll track it down yet.
You know, last night at the church, some of the...
Why does this motherfucker look like Dobby?
He does. He's a free elf.
Motherfucker probably also cooks ratatouille looking fun.
Doing it. I'll track it down yet.
You know, last night at the church,
He looks like if Dobby and Ron had a kid.
True story. He also seems to have kind of like a little sparkle in his eye going on here.
asked me to track you and Donna down, too.
Too busy.
Well, sure, we understand.
She got a mustache?
It's just that we're trying to line things up.
I've noticed that since she appeared on the
wanted to know
scene.
if you'd be available to help us out with a program for one.
Yo, I'm just saying, y'all need a 1960s video on how to wax a face.
You know, she might be going for that au naturel look.
No.
She might be. I mean, you can say, no, I don't like that, but you can't say, no, she's not. You don't know.
She will wake up in pain. What the fuck was that? That's your mustache on the fucking
Right.
strip, bitch. You're my brother. You're right, and I was sick of looking at it.
Well, I mean, obviously she grows better facial hair than he does. So, you know, that might be jealousy talking.
True.
For the next few weeks. We wanted to know if you'd be available to help us out with a program for one of the youth meetings.
You look way too old to be a friend.
Maybe later on, but, well, right now.
How about you, Donna?
Oh, I'd like to help out.
I'm just too stupid.
I'm just too busy.
Ah, close.
Okay. Remember, these meetings are important.
Good Lord.
Or did you forget?
Look,
Don't be a
Fred,
dick.
The
between
fuck
us,
kind of conflict
this
are we
youth
watching?
fellowship stuff down at the church is just taking up too much time.
Too much?
Well, and besides, it doesn't mean what it used to.
What are you talking about?
Well, I've been talking to Sid Thorpe. He's been helping me with this.
Whoa, whoa. Who the fuck names their kid Sid Thor?
I'm starting to think that this is more about the conflict between science and religion
Probably.
in teenagers.
Probably. Which will make this all the more fun for us. Doesn't she look pleased, guys?
Unimpressed.
So?
Too
Well,
much
we've been talking
time.
about science and religion. I'm just beginning to realize how out of date church really is.
Out of date?
Yo, the church has been out of date scientifically for like a couple thousand years now.
Yeah.
That's...
You're just now catching on to that? Bro.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Well, and things in the Bible, they don't make sense anymore, not when you look at them scientifically.
Well, listen, just because Sid Thorpe happens to be president of the high school science club, that doesn't make him any authority on religion.
Well,
I'm president of the chess club. You should listen to me.
That doesn't make him an authority on religion. Like, let's be real. We're talking about
Kids.
a religion that is, I'm going to say overall created by man.
Right.
Books were chosen
Right.
by a specific group of people,
Right.
and they tried to enforce other... Nobody's got any real
Look,
fucking...
even the experts that have degrees in theology don't fucking agree.
No.
So, I mean, there is no quote-unquote expert.
I
Because
still
they
just
can't-
find it funny that the Bible decided to leave out 26 or 7 years of fucking Jesus' life. Like, hey, he was a
Well,
baby,
they-
and now he's an adult.
Right? And then he's dead.
And then he's dead.
By the way, bye-bye. Yeah, well,
And they did it to paint him as a perfect person. And I guarantee there were
Right.
things that were written down that people would have looked
yeah,
at and
like,
been like,
what was he
"Oh,
like in his teenage years?
Right.
Okay. Well, I mean, aside from the fact that they're all in high school. So he's like, the president of the high school club is not an expert. Well, no shit, Sherlock.
And honestly, all this time at church, maybe I just want my dick licked.
Fondled. Jesus.
High school science club that...
No, not fondled by Jesus.
We
There's enough priests doing
don't
that.
know what he did in high school.
That doesn't make him any authority on religion.
well, shouldn't our religious
He
ideas
loved
stand
everybody.
up even under a scientific approach? I mean, either a thing is true or it isn't.
Well, certainly, but... Listen, Joe. There's some things we just have to accept on faith.
When did he become the
It
expert?
isn't enough for me, Fred. I'm not going to build my future on something I can't prove.
At this point, I don't know if we're watching an atheist-driven fucking video or a Christian-driven video. You guys are throwing up mixed signals for me. I'm just saying.
I'm confused.
Well, will you talk to our youth sponsor then? Or to the pastor?
Sponsor?
Look, Fred,
Is this
we
like
don't
the
have
boys
to talk
club?
to anybody.
You can't make me.
You're not my real dad.
Son, when do you think you'll get your satellite tracker working?
I don't know, Dad. I can't seem to find out what's wrong.
Say, that reminds me. Guess who's coming to town? George Cooper. There was a story about him in the papers.
Well, what's bringing him here?
Well, it seems he's going to have charge of installing some kind of electronic brain out at the new research center.
That
Too bad
wallpaper
he's
is
not still living
psychedelic.
next door, Joe. I'll bet he could picture us.
The wallpaper... That's
Like-
not even wallpaper.
Like
That's
well,
tile.
tiny labyrinths all over the place.
And it's a weird... That almost looks like... I've seen those designs before, but in, like, floors.
Mm-hmm.
It's like somebody said, hey, I like that floor. Put it on my wall.
Right. We'll do that. And that, and, like, all of it.
And why does everyone's clothes always got to have, like, some sort of design thing that goes with what's going on? Like, this dude's shirt looks like the in-betweens of the labyrinths.
Kind of. I mean, honestly, it's just kind of clashing for me. Oh,
satellite
there's his
tracker.
mustache. You can see a little shadow there.
Must have been a couple days later.
Right. 5 o'clock
Too
shadow.
bad he's not still living next door, Joe. I'll bet he could picture a satellite tracker.
Boy, I'll say.
He must be pretty old by now.
Yes, he's almost 31.
He is over the fucking hill. Thank you.
He must be pretty old by now. Yes, he's almost 31. Really? That's old to you people? Then I must
Look
be
who's
goddamn
talking.
ancient.
Well, and Mom was like, too bad he's not living next door anymore.
Like she had some kind of side thing going on. She likes some young.
He's 31. Oh, well, that's why she said that. Okay. Makes sense. Yeah, got it.
She's wanting to explore other things scientifically.
Well, let's see if we can prove that. We might have to test it a couple times. We're going to hell.
It's a good way for her to mix in religion and science. Oh God.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Oh my. Now, for those of you that don't get it twisted, I do have a religious background. I do
Me too.
believe in God and all that stuff. I'm just saying.
We're also funny.
Yeah.
Remember the time we hired him to hoe the garden? And he mixed up a batch of chemicals to try...
He hoed.
We hired him to
he
hoe the
hoed what?
garden. Oh no, the garden
He
hoed
hoed
her.
what?
Your garden hoed him.
She has a lady garden that needed hoed. It's a big thing.
Bird in the hands worth two in the bush.
Remember the time we hired him to hoe the garden?
Her hand on
And
the
he mixed
bird.
up a batch of chemicals
Two in her
to try to
bush.
kill the weeds scientifically?
And the smell drove us out of the house for a whole day?
Oh, I believe it, honey. I believe it.
Oh no! Now she just told him about her smell.
I know.
This is getting worse.
Drove everyone out of the house for the whole day.
Oh.
Try to kill the weeds scientifically?
And the smell drove us out of the house for a whole day?
Well, he did kill the weeds, and
I
then
mean-
came back.
Yeah.
Why
Leave
were
it to
they
the ground.
driven out of the house by a weed killer? Unless were there weeds in the house?
Nah, the stench could have crept in from the outside.
What
I
was
just hope
he
it doesn't.
using?
I just hope it doesn't
Skunk?
smell as bad as like Drano.
Yeah, well, that does smell pretty bad. Skunk smells worse though.
Seems such a shame that George, for all his brains, could never accept the fact of God having any part in the universe.
I'm so thankful that neither of you ever got to questioning things the way he did.
I wonder what happened to his folks after
Surprise!
they moved east.
All I know is what we've read in the papers about George these past few years.
Yes, Dr. George Cooper, eminent scientist. How can a man with a mind like that be so blind to the very Creator himself?
Well, maybe he found something in his research that made him believe like that.
Well, it's probably the same old
Or
story.
didn't.
In spite of everything he learned, he missed the main thing. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of all wisdom. A man may know his science, but unless he also knows God as Creator and Lord, he's missing the whole purpose of the insights and skills of science.
I feel like this is the type of conversations that cause people that don't believe in, like, oh, I don't know, global warming.
That the Earth is round.
Flat earthers. I am personally of the belief that God used science to mold the earth.
Okay.
Again, in the Bible it says it took him 7 days to create the earth, but at the same time, according to God, we don't know what time really is.
Right.
So for him, or to us, for 7 days to us, to him, very well could, thousands of years.
Right.
It is what it is. I hate people that think like this, where it's like, oh yeah, that science, it could disprove some things, but I don't believe in it because it goes against my faith. It's like, dude, really?
Well, and taking everything out of the Bible literally. That's part of the problem. Oh, that cannot be true scientifically because the Bible says differently, and you're like, not really.
Honestly, I think a lot of the stories in the Bible were made for moral purposes.
They were.
And not all of it factual.
Right.
But, some old people put them in the Bible, so it must be true.
Lord, he's missing the whole purpose of the insights and skills of science. Well, time for our devotions.
Oh. Okay.
I know exactly what you're going through, Joe. Same
They're
thing
at the
with mine.
float malt shop.
They could just realize that things change. That their ideas about religion just don't fit anymore.
Well, you've got to remember, when our folks went to school, they didn't get all the science that we do today.
Yes, Sid, but that doesn't make it any easier to get along with them. If a person doesn't have my parents' old-fashioned kind of faith, they think something's wrong.
You
I
still
don't want
figure
a
you could get
milkshake.
this Dr. Cooper to talk to our science club?
I want more restaurants like this.
Yeah, the old school malt shops. Yep. I could go with a burger and fries and root beer freeze right now.
And as a matter of fact, I would love for shops like this and then have like rules at the door that's like no cell phones allowed.
Right. Right.
Like, come in here
We're back
and
in the 50s.
enjoy time with your fucking families. Stop.
Right.
Or friends, whatever. Don't need to be
Or
on your
sit at the
damn
bar,
phones.
meet new people.
Sure, I know him.
Well, as president of said club, I hereby appoint you a committee of one to invite him.
I second the motion.
You can't second the motion, you're not a member.
Well, I still think it's a good idea.
It's a boys'
though.
club.
Not George.
Right?
Well, you two get George to show up, and I'll see that you're made an honorary member, Donna.
Agreed.
Girl, you just got played. I'll make you an honorary member. Yeah, you still can't join, bitch.
She's gonna show you like, bye, Felicia.
Yeah. Still got a badge. Sorry.
Hey, I gotta get going.
And a
See you
mustache.
around.
I mean, that
Don't
must be
forget to write
confusing.
George. We'll call the meeting in
Right.
this time.
Bye, Sid.
Did she just
Dude has no ass.
giggle because he bent
I've got
over?
a terrific idea.
Yeah?
Since you're going to write George anyway, supposing that we invite him to stay at our house while he's here.
Oh no.
He is 31 after
Well,
all.
You see, if Mom and Dad could get a chance to talk with him.
And Mom really wants him around,
Mom will be like, yes,
right? Permission granted?
I need him to hoe the garden again.
Oh shit. It's been a while. Sure, there's cobwebs and shit.
Right?
About science.
No, I don't think they'd go for it.
Well, what have we got to lose by asking? Oh, now, Joe, we've just got to do something to wake our folks up.
He's pouting.
Oh, chocolate malt, please.
So we thought it'd be nice if George could come and stay with us.
Yeah, you know, to talk over old times and things.
Look at Mom smile.
George
Look at
is
Mom
much too
smile.
busy. The sit around here talking with us.
Well, couldn't we at least invite him? I mean, it's the only...
Mom's like, oh, he ain't gonna be talking much. Not when
He's
this
gonna be
pussy's in
much
his
too
mouth.
busy. I'm wondering about the urns on the mantle. Like, deceased? Pets? Parents?
Parents?
Parents.
Parents?
Like, their parents.
Pets' parents?
Pets or parents.
So the monkey's his uncle?
Correct. They're all a baboon's ass in this, you can tell.
Right.
You'll be much too busy to sit around here talking.
And why does that look like a dude rear-ending some chick?
I can't unsee that.
For those of you that are wondering what I'm talking about, if you look on the mantle, because you can't see where I was pointing, if you look on the mantle, there's a statue
Right next to
right
the pet
next to the
urn.
urn on the right, on the fireplace mantle.
I think it's supposed to be
And
a
it looks
rooster.
like a dude who's on the right has a chick bent over. She's like looking back into his eyes while he's hitting it. He was even holding her hand while he's doing it. So that's weird.
It's romantic. That was the way to show that you still cared
Right.
from behind.
Talking with us.
Well, couldn't we at least invite him? I mean, it's the only nice thing to do, and, well, especially since I'm going to write him about speaking to the science club.
What do you think, dear?
I'm all for it.
It's up to you, Meg. Not the way you...
Oh, her name is Meg. Shut up,
I'll
Meg.
help you, Mom, with the meals and things.
Well, sure, and I'll pitch in, too.
I am so glad I know her name's Meg now.
Shut up, Meg.
You don't matter, Meg.
Thank you, Family Guy.
I suppose it is only friendly that we at least
It
extend
is
an
only
invitation.
friendly.
Oh, that's swell, Mama. Don't worry. We'll help out.
Oh, we sure will.
Well, as long as it's
We
all
sure
right.
will.
Well, I'll get a letter off right now, Mom, okay? And you can put in a P.S.
Good P.S. Lady Garden needs hoeing.
Are you sure you feel up to it?
Oh, I'll be perfectly all right, dear.
That look in her
I
eyes.
know she did.
She's like, oh, I'll be
Obvious.
perfectly all right.
And she's like, you know, not even looking at him in his eyes. Well, I mean, yeah, she's a hoe.
Are you sure you feel up to it?
Oh, I'll be perfectly all right, dear.
Nah.
And George was lots of fun.
Oh, well, way Joe and Donna have been asking about their church activities, all their growing interest in science. This could be a rather memorable visit.
Oh no, this is going to be a
George
blow up.
starts spouting off some of his scientific theories.
You don't think he really would, do you?
Well, if he does,
He
it
is
might
a
be a good
scientist.
thing.
But what if the children should misunderstand? They're so impressionable right now. What if he should plant any doubts in their minds?
It's their choice.
They need to question shit.
After all,
That's how we
on
learn
this
and
search for the
solidify
truth
our
never hurt anyone.
faiths.
We've got to hope that our children have a spiritual foundation that goes deeper than even they realize.
Or love your child for who they are.
Yeah, well, I mean, and here's the thing. Like, when you're in any religion from a super young age, there comes a point in your life, whether it's teenage years, early
She's
adult
daydreaming
years.
about it.
Yeah, she looks real pleased right now. Early adult years, whatever, that you have to decide if that faith is yours or was your parents, family, whatever, that you were following along but don't actually believe that yourself. There comes a point you have to question it. You have to, not necessarily chuck it aside type questioning, but like, do I really believe this, or was I just following along because it's a family thing? So, I mean, it's
like,
not a terrible thing.
I see it just along the same lines as like forcing your kids into the family business.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's their choice. They got to be
Mm-hmm.
one. They've got to want.
They
to
got
do
to
it.
choose that that's what they want to do for the rest of their lives versus, you know, some other dream that. But it's the same. What if they should question it?
Oh, she just sighed too. Scare him, shake him, grab him, just fucking shake him.
Jump out and say boo.
He's coming.
George?
So's Mom.
Took the words right out of my mouth. Thanks, Stevie.
He said he'll be very glad to speak to your science club, and he's looking forward to Mom's home cooking.
Okay,
and-
here, let me
I thought he was just going to be, he's looking forward to Mom.
Boy, it looks like things are going to be jumping around here.
Oh, I can hardly wait.
I'm sure they will be.
You show this to Mom yet?
No,
And a
she's
hopping and a
perfectly
bopping.
enough.
Well, he better not wake her.
Getting her beauty
She's gonna
rest.
need all her pep.
She's gonna need all
Oh,
her
they all
pep.
know about it too.
Maybe
Must
we
be some
shouldn't
sort of
have
like
done it.
sexually.
Yeah, maybe we
deviant
shouldn't have
sect.
done it.
Well, maybe it's really not very fair. After all, George is a real brain, and putting him up against our parents.
Look,
Well, you think
We're
this is
doing
gonna
Mom
be
and Dad
like
a real
the
favor.
OK Corral type
they're
showdown?
both pretty intelligent people. They're just...
Our parents
well,
are
they
stupid.
haven't caught up with the times.
Well, I know that, but I don't want to hurt them.
Oh,
Look,
Do you really
that's the last
wanna
thing in the world I
hurt
want to
me?
do.
do you
What?
really want to make me cry? Jesus Christ, this is like... Our parents are so old-fashioned. They're stuck in the past. They couldn't possibly understand. This is going to be a showdown. Smackdown.
This is gonna be a battle of fisticuffs.
This is a battle.
The battle for.
You're not
Hey, Joe.
yours.
Come on over and have a seat.
Come
How's
sit
the old
over
satellite
here.
tracker?
Getting nowhere fast.
Well, Fred says you've been so busy you haven't had time to help out with even one meeting down at the church.
Well, I've been up to my ears trying to get my equipment to work.
You
Oh,
should have
I'm
set
sorry,
up to your
please.
friend's ears.
Say, Joe, I
See?
was,
He even knows the waiter's name.
Right. It's a neighborhood.
You know, honestly, and this is just me being honest. Growing up, I will never move into a situation like this, but I had always wanted to live in a neighborhood, the type where everyone knows everyone.
Right. Now, I think maybe when I was really little, that would have been cool. And there were a couple places, like there was a mom and pop type ice cream store, handmade, homemade ice cream, right on a small corner that we used to go to all the time. And then there was the butcher shop that Mom primarily went to, and Raul knew me and always gave me hot dogs, like pre-cooked ones, that I
Right.
could eat while we walked around the shop, which was super cool. Now, I get that, but on the other hand, as an adult, it would bother the shit out of me. I'm too much of an introvert.
I'm not saying we had to go out and like, you know,
Yeah, but okay, here's the thing. Like, there are tons of benefits, don't get me wrong, people, to being friendly, and people, I'd be happy to sit in a place like this, know the waiter's name, yada yada. But that also means that they know you, and small towns like that, they also know your business.
true.
Not that I have anything to hide, I'm just an introvert and don't like snoopers.
Well, at the same time too, if we're there for too long and you're not super friendly, they'll just turn you into a robot.
Well, there is that Stepford problem. Mm-hmm. And I do not bake cookies.
I will.
I'll take your cookies.
I'll bake your cookies.
I'll make
I was talking
cheesecake.
to Sid Thorpe after school. He says you're bringing Dr. Cooper over to the science club.
Yeah?
Who's he?
George Cooper is a scientist. He's putting in the electronic brain at the research center.
Well, say, he doesn't have any small portable brains for sale, does he? Could sure use one in chemistry.
If I only had a brain. That was a really bad joke, too.
He
Not mine,
looks like
his.
that. He looks like an actor. I mean, I get it. He's an actor. He's in this, but he looks like that. Oh, what fucking? That's gonna bother me. I have to think about it.
Say, Joe, how come you're palling around with a guy like that?
Oh, he used to live next door.
Why would you pal
In fact,
around
he's
with
going
a
to stay with us while he's
scientist?
in town.
With your folks?
Why not? Might be interesting.
I feel like he's just trying to start some shit.
I am so fucking confused here, too. Like, are they in a cult?
That's almost the vibe I was getting at some
Because
point as well.
everyone's like...
Because
oh,
everyone else is like, I can't believe you'd be friends with somebody
right.
like that.
Like, he's a doctor. He's a scientist. Like, he's... I don't under... Why would you be friends with... What the fuck?
What do you care?
He's
Karen?
an intelligent human being who used to be a next-door neighbor. He's obviously been banging Mom for a while. I mean, like, there's plenty of reasons to be friends with him.
Right. I mean, at the very least,
He hosts the
might be his
garden.
stepdad.
Right. Who knows? But it doesn't make sense to me to, like, even
like
if,
all these
even
kids
if
have
you
been
have,
raised to shun science
it's the shunning.
blindly.
It's the shunning. It's like, go out, and if your faith is strong enough, you can either merge facts with it or decide on your own, but don't shun it.
She needs to pluck them damn eyebrows.
Well, it
A
just
lot of
seems
them
sort
need
of
some
funny.
hair
I mean,
maintenance in this.
well, this man's a scientist, and well, the way
We
you're
don't
supposed
like
to believe.
scientists.
Tell me, Joe. How does he explain away God?
Oh,
I'm
he's angry.
I'm like waiting for him to break out a belt and be like, hold the table. And just start fucking whipping him.
He's an angry person. Tell me, Joe. Like, he's
kind of a prick.
Well,
he's a real prick. Kinda.
why don't you come to the science club meeting? Let him tell you.
Okay, I will.
Challenge accepted.
Why don't you kids come too?
All right.
Well, sure. I'd like to ask him a couple questions.
Why would we hang
I
out with
imagine he can handle
scientists?
anything just about anybody can throw at him.
Well, hey, whose side you on?
There are no sides.
Well, what do you mean by that?
It's just that I'm in favor of the scientific approach to everything.
Uh-oh. Someone ratted on him.
Dad, what are you doing home so early? Is there something wrong?
I caught Mom
Your mother and I
upstairs.
just got back from the doctor's.
It seems I need an operation.
What for?
Tubes tied?
A C-section. No. Tubes tied would make more sense.
Better do it before he gets there.
Well, it's an exploratory type. I haven't reacted very well to some tests the doctor's been making.
When does it have to be?
We don't know for sure.
The doctor wants your mother to rest first. Go on a special diet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He
Is it
told
a
her
tube
she's
steak
fat.
I've been tired, but
Huh?
I didn't think it was
He
anything
told her
serious.
she's fat.
Mom, why don't you go up to bed now? I can take care of dinner and everything.
Well, I'll help out too.
Oh, thanks. But I'm not going to fold up and wilt. I just have to take it easy for a while, that's all.
Just the same, Meg. You let Joe and Donna take over tonight. Oh, and you better get in touch with George Cooper so he can make other arrangements.
Oh, now, Raymond, I'm perfectly all right. And he'll probably be here for only 1 or 2 meals at the most.
And I'm gonna rest up real well
He
beforehand.
gets here tomorrow. Now, don't you worry.
Well,
But
you know
worry.
how you feel.
I feel great.
Listen, all of you.
I'm gonna fuck
The
George.
Lord's looked out for us so far.
I'm gonna freshen up.
And our faith in him has always given us the
Opportunities.
strength to take things as they've come.
Ah!
So I've no intention now of sitting
Hard,
around worrying about
fast.
myself. I'm just going to keep right on, putting all my faith in God.
And all
He'll
of
help
George's
me
dick
face
in me.
this, just the way he's always helped me face everything else.
With my eyes shut.
I mean, like, I just don't see why there can't be a combination of the two. They're making this, like, very sided.
Right.
And interesting that it's just labeled teenage conflict. Like, this is the only conflict you have in your teenage years.
Right.
Ready for me to wipe the dishes yet?
Oh, I've already finished them.
Well, I asked you to call me.
I know, but the way you feel now, you probably would have dropped most of them.
Yeah.
I just can't get used to the idea of something being wrong with Mom.
Well, get used to it. She's gonna die one
Me
day.
neither.
Oh, Jesus.
I guess it's just that we've been, well, taking it so much for granted that she'd always be.
That's not very scientific. That she's not gonna age?
You know, Joe, I've
Right.
been thinking about what Mom said, and I never realized just how much her faith really means to her.
Yeah. I wish now we hadn't talked the folks into inviting George.
Now we're gonna burst
Well,
her
maybe we
bubble.
could still get Mom to cancel it.
You heard what she said.
But we can't just let her go ahead and...
My guess is
I
George
mean, we
is a
just
nice
got
guy.
to think of something.
We can't let Mom know we're worried about her or she's going to be upset. Of course, not that she isn't already. I can tell.
She looked terribly, terribly
Just a
upset.
big bluff.
I know if I were in her place, I'd sure be worried. Well, I guess I better go on up to my room and try to get some
Masturbate.
studying done. If I can.
There's all the banging in the bedroom.
Too.
Good Lord, what is she wearing?
Joe, please try.
Is that
to
a full body
keep
apron?
moving.
I think so. No, it's around the waist.
It's a house dress?
Bulova.
This looks more like a cell. Do they lock him up at night? Man, is he going to be shocked when he realizes that he can have a convergence of the two. It's going to
Right.
blow his little brain. God.
While mom's brain's getting blown.
After 10.
Oh, God.
Don't you think you should be in bed?
Yes,
That
I
looks like a
suppose so.
confessional.
You know, dear, this 23rd Psalm, of all the times I've read it, I think tonight it means more to me than ever before. I shall fear no evil, for thou art with me. Oh, I'm not saying I'm not concerned, but I'm just not going to be overly anxious, because I know God will see us through, just as he always has.
Of course he will, Meg.
Oh, Raymond, what do people...
I am of a completely different mind state.
How so?
In that I don't worry about death because I know it's going to happen.
It's inevitable. Yeah.
And when it happens, it happens.
Yeah.
At the very worst, I'm not going to care what's going on around me afterwards.
You're
I'm
gonna
gone.
be dead. Yeah. I mean,
I
plus worrying about things ahead of time. So, you know, she's like, I'm not going to worry about it, blah, blah, blah. Well, there's that saying that when you worry about something before it even happens, you're,
more likely to happen.
well, it's more likely to happen. You attract it to you. But also, you're, like, getting anxious over the situation twice. And it makes no sense to put yourself through it multiple times. Like,
No.
I get it. If you don't feel well and you have to go to the doctor, like, my mom is a survivor of a bone marrow type of cancer for over a decade, and they gave her not even a year when she was first diagnosed to live. So I get it when you don't feel well and you don't know what's wrong. Also, it took, what, like 6 years to diagnose me with fibro. I felt like
Right.
shit my entire teenage years and didn't get diagnosed until my early 20s. It's a little anxiety inducing. Something's wrong, you don't know what, people think you're crazy because you aren't missing an arm or something, and you just want to get to the bottom of it. But on the other hand, like, sitting there and fretting over it constantly halts your life.
I don't stress about anything physically.
Right.
I mean, you've seen it. I'll get out of bed and be like, oh, my back hurts, and then that's really
Right.
it. I just move on.
Me too.
It's whatever. And a lot of it is I learned at a very young age, like, stress is almost just as bad for you as
Oh, it is.
whatever is going on.
It is.
So, like, stressing about something, there have been people that die from stress.
Well,
Like,
it causes cortisol release, and that's terrible for you. It's one of the things that I had to learn to control because stress releases cortisol. Cortisol is actually what helps fire your nerve endings, which is what I have a problem with.
right.
They already overfire. So mornings are terrible because you naturally have a higher cortisol level in the morning. But yeah, it's one of those things like, oh, I'm hurting. Now, does that mean that I don't take it easy on certain days? Like, I know better than to push through certain types of pain. Other types of pain, I have also learned, are temporary, and I'm not going to necessarily screw myself up more, and I'll push through those. But there's no point in sitting there and having, like, a little pity party for myself. Maybe 5 minutes over coffee. I mean, I'm not doing anything anyway. Not until I finish at least 2 cups of coffee, so
Right.
I got time. Woe is me. Okay, what's on Facebook? Memes.
Right.
That's what I look for.
People do who have to face a problem like this without a living faith in the living God.
I think we just covered that.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I don't understand the toaster on the table.
What does your paper say?
Dad can be so calm about it
Something
Joe,
maybe?
we've just got to call off George's visit. After what you overheard last night, if he should say something.
I feel like they
That's what
think
I've been
this is a
thinking.
hit.
Even if
That's,
Mom's
they're
beliefs
acting
are
so
old-fashioned,
anxious about this. It feels like
They're
they
going
put
to
out a
help her
hit
out.
on their parents.
Right.
How would we head George off?
Your mom will show you.
Call off the
Maybe I'd
hit.
get one of the kids to drive out to the airport and meet him.
Get invited to his daughter's wedding.
Did you hear what I said?
No.
She said, how will we head George off? And I said, your mom will tell you.
Right?
Oh! Blowjob jokes, people.
Yeah. Deeper.
Maybe I'd get one of the kids to drive out to the airport and meet
I
him.
got pee.
This plane isn't due till after school anyway, and I could just explain things.
Did you say the plane doesn't doodle after school?
It's not due until after school.
Maybe I'd get one of the kids to drive
Yeah.
out to the airport and meet him.
I heard the same thing though. I had to
Plane
parse
isn't
through
due
it.
till after school anyway, and
Okay.
Yeah, I
I
had to
could
parse
just
through it.
explain things.
Oh, but what are we going to tell Mom about George?
He died.
Well, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Let's get these dishes.
Mom, we said Mom, we told him that God did not want him in our house. If he walked in, he would turn on fire. Turn on fire. Yep.
At least they didn't use a Malafor, although half of those are funny. He did say we'll cross that bridge when we get to it versus burn that
George?
bridge.
Yeah, he took an
When we get
earlier
there.
plane. He's in the kitchen now talking to Mom. Oh, Joe, what are we going to do?
God wanted him there.
We fucked up.
Believe it when you see him.
The way
Man,
she
but
said
you've
that makes me
grown.
think
You
one of
could
them
be
are
my
his
kid.
kids.
You a marble champ in the second grade. Or was it the third?
Yeah, you were the one that showed me those trick shots.
I remember.
They look very similar.
George,
You'll
do
never
know anything
believe it
about
when you see
satellite
it.
tracking gear?
A little. Why?
Well, I built a set and I can't get it to work. I wondered if you'd come down and take a look.
All right, son.
Don't bother George with that yet. He just got here. And he's hungry.
Well, I'll fix lunch, Mom.
Fine, then we can sit down and chat.
He wanted to feast on
No,
something
I
else.
hate to break in, but I have to ask George some things about the science club program so I can tell the kids at school this afternoon. George, would you look at my satellite receiver, just in case?
Okay, Joe, sure. If you'll excuse us, Mrs. Burton.
Of course. But don't let Joe talk your arm off. When he gets going
I'm gonna need it on my vagina later.
Well, maybe I'll talk his arm off.
See that look?
She's like, yes, definitely his dad.
So, that's how it is, George. Even though my family's beliefs are old-fashioned, well, in a way, it's about all that's keeping Mom on an even keel right now. So if you could just sort of play
Don't
along.
burst her bubble.
Well, that's no problem, Joe.
Thanks, George.
I go to church, kid.
Don and I knew we could count on you.
I have faith. And I'm a scientist. Surprise!
I'm afraid you don't quite understand. You see, I happen to agree with your folks.
You're kidding.
I know it comes
Dun
as a
dun
shock.
I
dun.
told you.
But several
It comes
years
as a
ago,
shock.
I came to know Christ. I accepted him as my personal Lord and Savior.
I just don't get it. I mean, after the way you've always
How
talked.
could you?
Well, Joe, the kid scientist who used to live next door, has learned a lot of things since he grew up.
Well, what
Now
about
we're
that
talking
story
in
in
the
the
third
papers,
person.
where you said that science
That-
and
I
religion
don't
would
like
always
that.
be in conflict?
They always
Well,
will
they
be.
must have left out the rest of what I said. I said there'd be conflict until both sides could see the other's viewpoint and realize that under God,
Right.
there can be but one ultimate truth. In my opinion, the true scientific approach has strengthened the faith of our fathers.
Well, how do you figure that?
I'll admit it didn't come easy. As you know, I'd grown up believing that unless I could prove something by a formula or in a test tube or by one of the five senses, it had to be rejected.
Well, doesn't it? I mean, either a fact is a fact or it isn't.
But there can be more than one approach to truth. One of my troubles was that I'd failed to realize that the discovery of the whole truth must come from mankind's total experience, not just from our so-called intellectual approach.
I don't quite follow.
What I'm
Me neither.
saying is that in proving the validity of religious faith, we can't use a slide rule. We have to remember that what a person lives for has just as much reality as, well, as your satellite tracker here.
But his satellite tracker is broken.
Right.
I'm just saying.
I feel like he maybe could have explained that a little bit better. I mean, I agree with him.
Right.
And the whole concept, and it's something that my dad and I have the, theological, scientific discussions all the time, because he's of the same mind. He loves science.
Right.
But on the other hand, has his faith. I just feel like he could have explained that a little better.
Yeah. Probably.
Reality as, well, as your satellite tracker here.
It's broke, bitch.
Tell me, Joe, do you love your mother?
Well, sure.
How much?
Why, a lot.
How much?
I'm about to tell you you're my son.
That's where I feel like this is going.
Yeah.
He's like, there's a reason you look just like me.
Right. I love your mother, too. I have for a very long time. Say, 16 years?
It all started one drunk night when me and your dad got drunk, and
She needed the garden hose.
she wanted it through both holes.
Which is a lot.
Well, it's just a lot, that's all.
In other words, you know you love her, but there's no way you can measure it with a scientific instrument.
Well, yeah, I guess that's right.
Well, then, just
Please
because
don't say
science
to the
can't
moon and
measure
back.
such things as love, faith, and hope doesn't mean they aren't real. You see, Joe, there is more to this world and to human life than demonstrable physical realities. There's a world of
Black
the spirit,
holes.
which is just as real as the world of chemistry and physical science.
But
Ghostesses.
how can you prove that it's real?
You can't. That's
Well,
what
you gotta
phases
call.
are.
Overwhelming evidence of 2,000 years proves it. God speaks directly to the human heart. His greatest and most direct revelation was through Jesus Christ, his Son. Every person who has ever really believed in Christ has found this to be true. His life has been changed. The Bible tells us, if any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. Old things are...
Do you think if he shook his head fast enough, he could fly?
Yeah. You can fly, you can... Sorry,
Put a feather in his mouth.
pink elephants. He's just not sold this to me.
No.
Like I said, I believe in the convergence. That is how I believe. But this would have made me like...
Question my own faith.
Whoa,
Way worse.
dude. Whoa. Baby mine, don't you cry. Baby
Any man be in
mine,
Christ, he is a new creature.
dry your eyes.
Old things are passed away. Behold,
Dumbo
all
references,
things
guys.
are become new.
But what about the conflicts between the Bible and facts
He
that
looks
science
so
has dug up?
confused.
Well, I believe that any such
Right.
seeming conflict arises because our present total approach to truth is still incomplete. After all, it wasn't really so long ago that scientists believed the world was flat and that the sun revolved around the earth. Joe, it's not a matter of science versus Christian faith,
Thank you.
but rather science, as it discovers truth, is one of the avenues through which God is constantly revealing himself. You
Which
say-
is a much better avenue than the avenue that has the guy in a trench coat revealing himself.
Yeah, don't do that. Like, this is not God flashing us. Yeah. I mean, and I would say more like revealing his works, revealing his creations.
Right.
Because it's not technically revealing him.
No, it's
It's
his
revealing
methods.
what he can't. Yeah, I mean, because God is incomprehensible. So, yeah. But again, like maybe just that small part, maybe he should have started with that. Because
No
honestly, like that sums it up way better than his 15-minute speech. Yeah.
which God is constantly revealing himself. You say you built this.
Well, I put it together, or tried to.
Well, can you
From a
imagine
cereal
trying
box.
to put this together by placing all the parts in the barrel and shaking them until you had a perfectly working set?
I thought that's what they did at Wish.
Well, isn't it even more difficult to imagine that this wonderful universe, about which we still know so very little, could have just happened by accident? The more I see of the universe and its wonders, the more it becomes obvious that behind it all is the supreme intelligence we call God.
Now, do you believe in aliens?
Yeah, alien life form.
I do.
Yeah.
I believe there's other humanoid aliens.
Yeah.
And I say this because A, you can look at it one of two ways. First, universe is way too vast to not believe that there's not something else out there. But I used to even tell people back when I was like fully strong in my faith, like, look, God fucked up with us. He had to have tried again somewhere else.
Right. Exactly. Fuck, even the angels hated us, guys. Like, it was obvious we were fuck-ups. But, and in Judaism,
to be
they
honest,
started with
angels,
Lilith and then
angels
kicked her out of Eden.
To be
And they're
fair,
like, let's try again.
To be fair, angels hated us because of God.
Yeah. But even, like I said, in the Judaic faith, they kicked the first woman out of Eden. Just like, nope, sorry, wrong. And then Eve came and guess what? They all got kicked out.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. So, but...
She's like, I went and got my dad. You all need to leave.
You're not my mom. But, yeah, I mean, honestly, with black holes and the universe and just not even knowing how vast it is, there's got to be other life forms out there. Right. That is technically what alien... It's not the little green men everybody think of. I mean, there could be. But alien is anything that's foreign to this world. So, yeah.
The Creator. And that our every attempt to understand the facts of our existence draws us closer to Him. And that He has already given us the key to the meaning of life through His Son, Jesus Christ, who said, I am the way and the truth
and the life.
And the life. No man comes to the Father but by me.
I know he's listening for aliens.
Hey kid, this is Jesus. Just letting you know your parents are dumbasses.
Right.
Your buddy George should also probably not be there. I'm pretty sure she's up there calling my dad's name.
Right. Good thing they lock you in the basement, kid.
Right.
Now she's sneaking. Surprise.
Anything?
No, but George guarantees it ought to work now.
And all that was wrong was just one little old connection?
And a few things that Sid overlooked.
I guess Sid overlooked a lot of things.
Yeah, I can hardly wait to see Sid's face when he starts in on George tomorrow at the science club meeting. And George gives him a blast of facts.
I'm sort of ashamed.
Yeah, so am I.
Well, sweetheart, we already knew you were kind of stupid. Way
Speaking
out of orbit.
Of which, could I have
Did
a
he
listen?
just say that?
He did.
Okay, just checking. There's the signal.
Joe, I hear something.
What's up? Get a satellite?
I'm sure that's it. Here, listen.
Fuck you, Dad.
It's like the annoying dial tone.
It's an SOS.
Well,
I think George
what
needs
do
me.
you know? Here, Raymond.
Yes, sir. I sure hear something.
Imagine getting signals from something way out there in space.
Boy, it sure is terrific.
Good old George. The right connection and presto.
Yes, when you get things connected right, you can hear the most wonderful message of all. The one God sent this old world a long time ago.
I'm glad I didn't grow up in this era.
That was really cheesy.
I want
want to listen to more beeps. His arms are really hairy.
Okay.
I hated it.
Yeah, that was terrible.
I hated it.
Honestly, this wasn't even really an instructional video like I was hoping.
Right.
It was like an episode of some really bad fucking TV show. Which is fine. I mean, whatever. I don't even necessarily hate the message. I get what they were going for.
Yeah, but...
But dude, George...
A half an hour little...
George spent 10 minutes explaining something that he wrapped up very nicely in 5, and he could have just used that 5 minutes of convo.
Well, and the kids were still acting like it was going to be shocker, like a hit, like they were acting before he got to the parents, and now they're like, I can't wait to go to science club and see his face, and it's like, yo, chill.
Right.
Like, all right, guys.
Yep. So
excitement over.
I still feel like this was funnier with the things we were saying than last week's, though. Or the last one we did.
Yeah.
That middle one was just... there are a couple good jokes there, but...
Right. That's what it was.
We did find out Meg liked George. We're pretty sure George's dude's dead.
Right. Mama's happy.
Mama's happy.
No.
But yeah, I gotta pee, so we're gonna end it here. Smash that like button, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, all those fun things. Look down below for all the things.
Please.
And,
do the things.
We love you guys. Thank you all for watching. Cannot wait to see Depraved people later.
Good night. Night, night, night.